What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bourbon and Bullshit Podcast with some good friends, great drinks, and a little bit of BS. So grab a seat, pour up something neat, and welcome to the show. Hey. All right. Welcome everyone to an episode of Bourbon and Bullshit. Today is going to be a unique and fun day. We are in the middle of the back end. We're at the back end of a hurricane that came through Florida. So things are a little confusing, a little weird, but we are, so if you hear any like thunder or lightning in the background, I apologize in advance. It's been random because it's always Florida's random. But today we're in the virtual studio with Troy D. Williams, local actor, digital creator, football enthusiast, and overall, really, I'm actually very looking forward to getting to know him a lot better. But Troy, how are you today, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate it. How are you?
Can't complain, man. Every day above ground is a good one. So I'm always vibing, always hanging out. It's a Saturday. I'm inside, nice and dry with some good drinks. And I'm not watching the UCF game, which apparently is their beat. They're getting trounced.
You're not missing anything, man. It's just getting ugly.
Man, and the thing is, this is going to sound so blasphemous. I'm not a big college football person. I'm a pro football person, but UCF was the first in-person college game I've gone to. And then I went to Georgia versus the Gators. And I still got this game. But like they were at least the team I was rooting for because they're right up. I live behind their stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I drove by their stadium today before the game. It was just to get lemons and stuff for today. So, but all that
UCF is my alma mater, man. So I'm always a huge fan of UCF since I graduated from there.
Oh, nice. Were you playing on their team, or are you just a big fan of the supporter?
Just big fan of supporter. Yeah, I actually played semi-pro football actually after my college days. So
nice. Yeah. What position, if you don't mind me asking?
I was DB, so I played corner and safety.
Oh, you're fast as hell. That's
yeah, I wouldn't say my speed is fast, but my awareness is like through the roof, man. My awareness has always been really high. So I can read plays, know what they're going to do, break on the ball, get an interception. Like that's always been my specialty. Understanding the game.
That intelligence will trump intelligence, and hard work always trumps like natural, like physical ability. Especially with DBs, because DBs is one of the hardest positions in football.
Absolutely.
Like, anyone will tell you, like Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, they're all talking about it, and they made the joke because like, you know how hard being a DB is? It's like no white guys could do it. They said it, and I was like, hold on, there aren't any. I was before Cooper DeSheen and all of them. I was like, holy crap, Ferris, yo, like. But you have to stay hip to hip with someone who they know what the route is. You don't know what the route is. You have to stay on top of someone like that. You have people like Devonta Smith. You have all these people, and you have this just overall next level of talent that imagine trying to block and cover AJ Brown.
It's tough, man. It's tough. And then you're starting off going backwards. You're backpedaling. So it's like you're already starting off at a disadvantage. So it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is not an easy position to be in. I didn't ever play in college or anything like that. Only things when I played in high school, it was like defensive end and middle linebacker because it was just much easier to say kill that person. See ball, get ball. That was it. I didn't have to do anything but just be bigger and stronger. It's like, all right, we'll do this.
That's good stuff. You play here in Orlando?
No. I'm originally from New York City. So,
okay. Gotcha.
And I had to break away from it. So I'm Dominican, which means inherently I came out of the womb with a baseball bat. And just ready to go. And like in our culture, it's everyone plays baseball. My cousins go to baseball camps. If you are in Dominican Republic, have you ever been?
I haven't, but I really want to go. It's one of my places to visit on the bucket list.
It is gorgeous. It is something that you should probably make sure that you're in a group of friends and don't go along anywhere by yourself.
I've heard.
It's my country. I could talk all this smack too. No, but in DR, you will see like little mini baseball camps. So like the Marlins have a camp out there. They recruit like 9-year-old kids like, hey, your kid. So they are playing for camps since they're like 10 and just getting better and better and better. So I broke away a little bit because I felt that baseball is very fucking boring. very, very dull unless you're playing. But now football's always been fun. So yeah, obviously for all those listening at home, we are in the thick of the NFL season, college season. This is football season. I'm sorry, Sunday now belongs to football.
Best time of the year.
What's your
Best time of the year.
right? Thank you. I'm gonna just get my feelings hurt for the next 8 to 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Who's your pro team, or do you have a pro team?
So like I'll be honest, man. I used to follow it like die hard, and then I got older, got more serious with life, and I got real responsibilities. So I don't really follow teams like that. I kind of just like to see good games.
Yeah.
So like I'm just kind of a fan of it as a whole. So I just like to see good games. Now if you ask who I think is gonna win it all, like I think if Miami can get a quarterback in there, now that Tua is down, I think Miami with the firepower that they have, that's a pretty exciting team, man. One of the fastest teams I've ever seen. Baltimore has a good chance, but then I think everything just kind of runs through Kansas City. It's like it just runs through there, man. They're clutch.
I make the joke every year. It's like, it's like you can't keep getting away with this, old man, about Andy Reid and them. You could take away every weapon they have, they figure it out.
Yep.
You could, was it one of his Super Bowls, he had like a high ankle sprain, which people would normally take 3 to 4 weeks off, like at least off, and he's like,
that's a serious injury, man. Serious.
He went in there and ran on it and threw on it and won a Super Bowl on it.
Or he was hopping. Yeah, I remember he was hopping like one day. That was crazy.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes and them are crazy.
Yeah.
So you ironically said the team. I've never been a super fan of anything, but if I'm rooting for a team, it's the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's because when I started playing football, I didn't know anything about football. I didn't know a damn thing. And I'm playing defense, and my coach was like, "Well, just go watch Baltimore." And that was the Bullies of Baltimore, the like Organized Chaos, the Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, like that.
Good old days, man.
Yeah. Ooh, that team was different. They recently released a documentary, 30 for 30, on them. Did you ever get a chance to check
that one? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I got to relive it, man.
It's gorgeous. It was such a beautiful season. But I'm never a super fan because to your point, well, I don't know if this is your point. I'm the type of person that, it can sound really harsh to anyone who's a fan of anything, is I have my own life to take care of, and I have other things. Like there are those people who live, sweat, breathe, and die their teams, and I could never do that.
I'm the same way, man. That's what I'm saying. Like it takes up a lot of time, man. You put a lot of energy into it. I nothing against like fantasy football and things like that, but man, I get like 10 plus people every year. Hey man, you want to get on my fantasy league? I'm like, man, that stuff is time consuming because you have to watch. You have to know what's going on, who's on injured reserve. You have to know, it's a lot of stuff. It takes time. I'm like, it's almost like you're in school. I'm like, I don't care about it that much. I just want to see good games. But I'm not going to say I'm benching this person, starting this person. I'm like, that's a little, I don't have time for that anymore, man. My life is chaotic.
And I'm very curious about the rest of it. I know what I want to know because I know you're doing a lot of big projects, and getting to know you online is a little interesting. Movies, football, acting. You recently announced you might have some big roles coming up. I saw that online, and you're a digital creator. So I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper into it. But I'll let you give me the Sparking Notes bio of yourself. Like what do you do in this chaotic, crazy life of yours?
So, oh man, it's crazy. So I have a wife who's been married for 15 years, coming up on 16 in November. So very excited about that. Very thankful for that. We have 3 children. One is in high school, one is in middle school, one is elementary school. So that's chaos in itself because they start and end 3 different times. So it's like I have to get them to school. My wife gets our oldest to school because high school starts the earliest. So then I have to pick the kids up from school. Then I coach my younger son's football team. Like I coach the defense. So that's practice 3 days a week, games on Saturdays. I work a 9 to 5. I'm still in corporate America. So that's about 45, 50 hours a week. And then somewhere in there, I try to find time for myself, or either whether I'm auditioning for commercials, films, just studying my craft, working on monologues, or just studying like different things that are on, either streaming platforms, like shows that I want to get on, shows I can see myself on. Like I study those things just to kind of see the style of what they look for in those shows.
Interesting. Now, streaming platform shows, like what shows are you generally like hoping to get in on? Like what's your vibe? Like what's the energy or something that speaks to you when you see shows online?
So SWAT for sure. More. Yeah, that one, man. My wife got me into that one, and I'm like, I watch it. I'm like, that show was so amazing, man. Like the just the storylines they do. They cover like so many relevant topics on those shows, like on those episodes.
No.
And then the way that it's shot, man, it's like amazing, man. Like I don't know why, but their footage, the quality of it looks better than anything else I've seen on TV or streaming platforms. Like right now during this time. Like they use like these amazing cameras, and it's just like it's crisp, man. So I really like that because I could either see playing one of those cops or something, on that show, or just even getting like a guest star role on there, like just appearing like one episode or something like that. Because they shoot that out in LA, So with me being out in Florida, that's
a little bit of a trip.
that's tough.
That's a little bit of a trip right there. And you say,
Yeah, but that's a show I could really see getting on, man. I actually auditioned for what is it called? Will Trent. The show Will Trent.
I love Will Trent. That's one of my favorite shows on.
My wife's favorite as well. So she has a lot of shows I watch just because my wife stumbled across them and she starts watching them. But I got an audition for that one. And honestly, I saw the episode. Now look, I'm not one of those actors that like hates on other actors or anything like that. Like, but I everything I audition for, I like to watch and see who actually booked the role and see like why they booked the role.
Yeah.
And like the role that I auditioned for, man, listen, I was the best option for that one, man. And they were actually casting a lot out of Florida for that show. Like during the time, they were holding a lot of auditions out. They were pulling talent from Florida for that one. So I really thought I was going to get on that one. But
that's a shame that you didn't, man.
Yeah, it's coming though, man. It's coming. Like I said, the ones that I'm lined up for in 2015, I have a rom-com, that I'm never done a rom-com before.
You said 2015. You mean 2025?
I'm sorry, 2025.
Just means
a few months from now.
Okay.
A few months.
I was like, that you've been on before. Awesome. So rom-com.
That was when I started my career. So yeah, coming up on a decade, which, that's just a blessing in itself, to be able to still be relevant and still be doing this. It's tough to stay relevant in this industry. That's the reality of it. But I'll be doing a rom-com, hopefully like first quarter of next year. So
that's pretty dope. That's awesome.
Should be a pretty big one. Yeah.
Be the lead on that one?
Like co-lead.
That is dope. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Rom-coms are I was going to say like it's my guilty pleasure, but it's not really guilty. I enjoy them. They're funny. Fight me. Like they're funny. Matthew McConaughey was hilarious in a lot of them. Fight me. I don't care.
They're good movies that people just watch like over, and if you catch one, you'll watch it. It's just good. They're feel-good movies,
Absolutely. And you don't like rom-coms are just underrated, man. I think that they got a bad stigma because dudes are like, oh, you have to watch action thrillers. No, I'm gonna go laugh about a bad relationship or great relationship. I don't care how ridiculous the storyline is. I think it's hilarious.
Listen, I love those movies, man. Like I said, that's one of my dreams to do a movie like that. So the fact that I'm gonna be doing it with some pretty big name actors, that's I'm very grateful, man. So it's a very humbling experience coming up. So I'm just getting ready, make sure I'm staying sharp, and that's gonna be a big one that I know will be on like either a big platform or maybe even come to the theaters or something.
Oh, then you 110% better tell me when it releases because I'll watch it.
I got you.
I know that guy.
I got you.
I've acted before. I'm like, just like, hey, I know that guy. Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to shout that in a movie theater. It's great. Now, do you find yourself like when you're talking about your style and acting and all that? Do you said SWAT, Will Trent, but you divert a little bit, went to rom-com. So traditionally, you like the authority figures, or is that what speaks to you, or like what typically in a role is something that you're like, oh, I could do this, or I vibe with that, or it's something that speaks to you?
So I'll be honest with you, man. And one of the things that I think I feel make me unique is just my versatility, man. My versatility and my range. Like and maybe it's coming from a world of athletics, and then also, on the academic side, always being like in honors and gifted classes and stuff like that. So like I've always been, just
able to
in rare air. It's like just rare air, like just in very good environments or whatnot. So I've picked up on a lot of different things, so I can go like, being an athlete, being an athlete my entire life, I'm around certain groups, right? Certain groups of people, right?
Yeah.
Then in the classroom, I'm doing this, so I'm around certain groups of people. So I became very well rounded just through all my life experiences.
Yeah.
Then, you go to a college like UCF where you got like 50,000 plus students, and then it's like you just get to learn, and you learn so many different styles, so many different ambitions, so many different personalities that I just learned how to kind of vibe and communicate with so many different people. So because of that, I always like to say, like, I have split personalities or multiple personalities where I can just kind of channel that
Mhm.
and I can become that if I put enough time into it. So, honestly, man, like I'm very versatile. So like I feel like I can play anything. I've played so many different types of roles. And really it just comes down to the script, right? It's the story. Is the story something I connect with? Is the character someone I really connect with and a story that I really want to tell?
Mhm.
And that's usually what kind of gets me. So it doesn't really matter what type of film it is, not necessarily what type of role it is, just something I feel like I can connect with and something that I feel based on the writing, I would love to tell this story. So that's really kind of how I look at it, man. Cause I go from drama, like as far as the movies that I watch, I love watching dramas more than anything else,
Okay.
or gangster films, like I said, I'm just wide range, man. So it's like, I try to be as well-rounded as I can be, and that's just even as a person in life, and it kind of like, kinda comes out, when I'm doing these films and everything.
That's that's actually dope. I think to your point, when you think about upbringings and if athletics and certain programs and book clubs and all these things that parents tell the kids, hey, be a part of this, be a part of this, is it's really not only is it great for as a human being, but it also removes that echo chamber. It gives you this exposure to different personalities, different lifestyles, different upbringings. You could learn how to be a hoodlum at the same time and then learn how to be a honor student and hang out with the people who do golf tours with their families and all that stuff. It's
Exactly.
like you're never pegged into one specific box. You're not, this is who I am at all times. And being multifaceted, I think not only obviously it seems like it's very important as an actor, but I think as a human being, it's also as important.
Right. You're right, man, and one thing I say, man, I tell people this, like, one thing I didn't realize, man, I've been acting my entire life, man. Whenever you go into a new environment, man, sometimes you have to adapt, just being able to adapt, you become what you need to become to succeed in that environment.
Yeah.
So like I said, I've been acting my entire life, man.
Yeah. And that's fair. I think it's important. In a different kind of vein of it, I had a conversation about code switching with friends. And code switching, I'm sure you're familiar with the term, but for those who are listening, is if I'm at a corporate function, I'm going to speak a little bit differently. If I'm back with my friends in New York, I'm going to speak a little bit differently. And it's never not authentic. It's just speaking in a manner that's appropriate to the context of where you're at.
Exactly. Exactly.
And those who can do that understand that it sometimes is necessary, but it's also beneficial. Speaking the way other people, kind of like being able to have a real honest conversation with someone who could speak in the same level with you might take an adjustment. I could
Right.
I could fuck around and go to the hood and just be like, oh, como estamos? Like it just go straight Dominican and then go right back to my corporate 9 to 5. I was like, hey, let's put that parking lot then we'll circle back and we'll come back in the next meeting about this and we'll figure it out. Like it's never like disingenuine, but I think it's that ability isn't something that everyone has. So I commend you on being able to adjust that and being able to also take what you've learned and remember, like, it's almost like you're pulling things out of like the codex when you're like, I have this role.
Exactly.
What experience can I like tap into and go,
Exactly.
all right, so I'm playing a police officer that's ex-military, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I got like 2 people in mind. I got 3 people in mind. And being able to take little nuances or little habits or like a tick or something that you picked up from something and just kind of build a character, like a Build-A-Bear.
You're right, and that's very similar to the process in which I do. Very, very similar. And one thing I'll say, man, like sometimes you'll play characters that you don't think you really have a lot in common with, and then when you dig deeper into that, you find out that you have a lot more similarities than you realize. That's one of the discovery, stages of connecting with the character, and that's one of the things I've learned, which I think is very interesting,
Yeah.
very interesting. Like you would play something and you'd be like, man, I don't really have much experience here. I don't know about. But then it's like, man, this dude is kind of like me,
Yeah.
in different areas of his life, different layers. So that's one of the things that acting has taught me, man. Like we're a lot more alike than we are different.
That's dope. And have you ever as in the process of like discovering a character, had a director or writer say, hey, that wasn't exactly how I wrote it, but I like where you're going with it, or I like what you picked up on it? Have you ever had an actor, or I'm not an actor, a director or a writer kind of shift their idea of it because of how you were playing it?
Yes, and that was actually one of the best feelings you can have as an actor, honestly. And I'll tell you, it was an experience like it was a gangster role that I was playing, right? And the role wasn't really written for a black guy, right? It wasn't really written for a black guy, but they just kind of, sometimes you go on auditions and they have you read sides, for certain characters, just kind of see your range and what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up, I guess my read was so well, my audition was so well, they ended up changing that whole character to more so be like kind of more like me.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up being like a lead role for me. That ended up being a lead role when I was really just reading for a smaller supporting role. And then that role became like the biggest, and they changed kind of the whole storyline based on that. So that was actually a great feeling, because that was actually like in the beginning of my career where I didn't really know much about acting,
Mm-hmm.
still kind of figuring it out, trying to find my way. And, so yeah, that has happened.
That's dope. I could only imagine that's a fantastic freaking feeling. Like saying, hey,
One of the best feelings in the world,
I
man.
know what I was trying to get at. You do it, and you're like, that's good. Put that in. Hey, come get one of the TAs.
Right.
That's awesome, man. But have you, you don't have to get into the actual role or the movie, but have you ever like read something and gone, I don't like this character, or have seen like not that you didn't resonate, like it just didn't grip you, and did you still push through with it, or are you like, I don't know, man, and just walk
So
away?
that's a really good question, man. That's actually a really good question, because and I'll say this for like, anyone that's kind of like getting into the craft or having interest to get into the craft. So like in the very beginning, when you're acting, like I kind of took everything I could get, just trying to get my feet wet, trying to fail fast so I can, push forward and just learn, get on as many sets as I can get on, just learn, because I wasn't training or anything. So I'm like, I just had to kind of learn when I was on set, so I can ask questions here, learn about there. So in the beginning, yeah, man, I took on a lot of roles I probably shouldn't have done. And those projects, a lot of those projects didn't really go anywhere. But, for me, it was still a value because I got the experience,
We're getting the
but now in my career, I'm kind of at a point now where I have I've earned the right to be a little bit more selective, so if I don't resonate with it, if the script doesn't talk to me, like my thing is, if I pick up a script, right, I'm reading it. If I kind of get bored, I get distracted and I start doing other things. I put it down, pick it up again, get distracted again. I'm like, it's probably not the one, because the scripts that I do that I love doing, like I can't put them down.
Okay.
It's almost like I have to go through the whole thing right then and there. I'm like, oh, I love where the story is going. Oh man, I can already kind of see me, channeling this character. I can see doing this particular scene.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what this scene is going to be like. I can tell how they're going to shoot it. I can tell, like, this scene is going to be so dope. So it's that excitement that I get when I read it. That's how I know it's the right role.
Yeah, that's where like that light bulb was like, this is it. I like this guy. I like this character. I want to do it.
Just get that feeling, man. It's just something about it. I'm just like, I started getting like that. I don't know. You kind of start getting a tingly feeling in your stomach. It's like, oh yeah, man, this the one, man. Like I can really bring this role to life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This can really be a great quality project, man. That can really get out there. That could potentially get distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I look at it, man.
That's dope. I think that's really awesome to hear. I think it's important also for people to hear. You get to the point now that you can be a little bit more particular. You can take on the roles that you actually enjoy. At the beginning, where you're just trying to get those reps in, you still found value in it. It got you to the level that you're more, right? It got you to the level where you feel more comfortable. You're more diverse. You could do more things. You've seen what bad looks like, and being able to kind of know, we had a film like this before. It didn't go well. I'm not gonna. It's like when you see the pattern, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go with this, and being able to make those adjustments, because reps matter. We talk about it athletically, content creation, any creative. Hell, doing a normal job, reps matter. If you're any normal,
absolutely,
getting those reps matter. They might not be the best reps at first, but here we are. It took those little steps before you got.
Gotta work on your craft. Gotta work on the craft, man.
Yeah, man. It's so from my perspective, from us, like this is the third podcast I've been a part of. I remember the first one I was on, ended up being very successful, but it took like 50 episodes of me being the second chair for like, let's say 30 episodes of me being the second chair for me to find my rhythm, to find my voice, to find who I was going to be in the show and kind of like find my niche. That's where I met Kim. She became our third chair eventually. And we ended up winning. I'm going to say this boldly. We won Orlando Weekly's best podcast in Orlando, only lost to someone who was a syndicated podcast, Tom and Dan.
And that's good stuff, man. Congrats on that, man. That's huge, man.
Like but at the beginning, it was chaos. It was just being goofy and having fun and all that stuff. And as we started to get reps in and get comfortable and understand what we were bringing to the table, it was kismic. It was fantastic. For 4 years, we got top 3, if not 1, Orlando Weekly's best podcast. But it took those reps. It took some time. When I started this project, I thought, hey, this is going to be easy. I've already done it. Nope. You got to get those reps. You got to figure it out. You're doing something new. So I'm sure, but now with a decade's worth of experience, even year 3, you were probably nowhere near as comfortable as you are now.
Absolutely. That's a fact.
And so for anyone listening at home, get your reps. Don't quit. You're going to fall a bunch of times and it's going to take time. Anything worth doing is going to take time. Anything that comes fast, you lose fast. So make that choice. We're going to take a quick break because I got to pay the bills here and make sure that our sponsors are also spoken of. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit more into Troy and his other ventures and projects and dig a little bit deeper behind his charming smile and everything else going on in his world. Be right back, guys. Hey guys, while you're listening to the show, we know that you might want to partake in some drinks with us and enjoy in the libations. Here at Bourbon and Bullshit, we ask that you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive, avoid Amazon one-click buy, and for the love of God, do not text your ex. You do not need that kind of closure. They've moved on, so should you, Joseph. You should stop Facebook stalking. She knows. She knows. Now, all jokes aside, don't do anything dumb, take care of yourselves, and be safe. Thanks, guys. Now back to the show. All right, a little bit behind the curtain. One of my favorite moments, and every time I record with someone digitally or virtually, is seeing their live reaction to the first time they hear the "Don't Text Your Ex" commercial. Like every time, because I'm very serious about the "Don't Drink and Drive," but something about putting the comedic spin on it. Not only is it me, but you're gonna remember that. Troy's real response.
I wasn't ready, man. I wasn't ready. You just kind of caught me off guard, man.
Avoid Amazon one-click buy. Because it's true. You know how many times drunk me and sober me aren't on the same financial sheets? Like I wake up, it's like, why did I order? Like, not anymore, but there was a time where like Amazon one-click buy made things way too easy to like just shop. We had this joke. A buddy of mine, Ken, he's like, oh, I want to make dumplings. Drunk him ordered dumpling maker. He's never even taken out the box. Because of a drunk thought. And the "Don't text your ex" is just good life advice. Don't text your ex. But Troy, before we get more into you, I'm going to just go ahead and just for the people listening at home, today we are going to be drinking a little bit / Vanguard. They got released actually on September 20th. And they were there at Whiskey Business, a local whiskey event brought to you by Orlando Weekly. Not a sponsor, but if they want to be, I'll give you my number. The guys, Tim and Mike from / and Winter Park, do amazing work. They were on the show. We had 2 episodes with them. And during that tasting, I found out when they released this bottle is that they pick this during our tasting on my show. So they released a whole run, and I happen to be part of the origin story. Whether they want to give me credit or not, I feel like I was part of it. That's up to them. But I'm going to be enjoying that. Troy is enjoying the UCF game in the background. And, but Troy, so I know that you said that you're decades worth of acting. What brought you, what attracted you to acting? Like, what was this something that, hey, I did a play one time, or what was that origin story to becoming an actor and following this path? Because as we know, it's not easy.
It's one of the most difficult industries you can go into. Where you have to have thick skin, you have a lot of rejection, lots of politics. So yeah, man, if you go into this craft, if you're doing it for the money, it's gonna take some time, man. So I would say run. It's gonna take some time. But
get that cardio up.
Exactly. But I would say, man, The love of it came, I want to say like my sophomore year of high school, man, 10th grade. I actually, I got pushed into a drama class for an elective, right? Like, and I tried to get out of it. A lot of people don't know this about me, but my biggest fear in life, especially up until that point, was public speaking. So I never wanted to do anything, or me in front of anyone, say anything. I'm the dude who knew the answers in the class. I just never raised my hands. I didn't want to get called on. I just wanted to do my work, go about my day, get my A's, move on. Like that was me.
Yeah.
They stuck me in there, and so I was big on keeping my grade point average up. I was a scholar, student, athlete, student first. So my GPA was something I took a lot of pride in. I knew I always wanted to go to college, so I got stuck in that class, and then I kind of started looking at the syllabus, right? And I started looking at the rubric in that class, and I'm like, we had to do like improvs every Friday. It was a part of the syllabus. Every Friday, you had to go in front of the class. You had to read a scenario with the partner, and you guys had to act that out in front of the class. No lines or anything. It's all improv. So I looked at it and I said, man, is there any way I can not do any of these and still get an A in the class? I'm serious, man. That day, I took it to that extent. I started doing math and everything. So without that, and then there was a project we had to do at the very end of the class, like on stage, you and a partner, and it had to be like 2 or 3 minutes long, like an actual scene, like a, short skit or something, like, and everybody else is sitting out in the auditorium. So it was crazy. So I'm like, if I don't do any of these things, what's the highest score I can get? And it would have been like a C. So I'm like, that means if I lose points on anything else, I could possibly get a D. That's gonna kill my GPA. I never did C's, man. It was always either A's or B's, and mostly A's. So I said, man, well, you know what, man, my GPA, let me just go ahead and see what's up with this. So I had some really good classmates that, I would team up with, and, they kind of carried me through a couple of those first improvs. After the first couple of ones, I'm like, man, like the way that the class is reacting to what I'm doing, like if I'm doing comedy, they're laughing. I never knew I was funny. If I'm doing like something where I have to be like a little bit more gangster, like they're actually like in awe of what I'm doing. Like I'm captivating their attention. So that was, but at that time I was, playing sports, and that was like my first love. That's what I was focused on. Back in my day, like doing drama was not a cool thing to do. That didn't necessarily get you the chicks. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really, everything to me was about getting girls, right? So the athletics is what really brought
Troy.
that. You had to take 2 steps to that.
I know this isn't a kid's show, but we're sending the right message here.
Hey, so that mentality was the wrong mentality to have, guys. If you're listening, it's the wrong mentality. I'm just telling you guys how I thought as a youngster, right?
I'm just giving you shit, giving you a hard time. But I do want to say the drama girls are pretty awesome too. Drama's a good way of getting. People were looking at Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt.
I didn't realize it. Yeah. You're right, though. I didn't realize it back then, but you're absolutely right. But yeah, that was really what it. So I started to see that I was good, right? So like I secretly kept that to myself. I said, man, I really like this. I like being able to be somebody else, and play something else, and not. It's funny, man. My fear of public speaking is for myself, but if I'm playing somebody different, there's no fear at all. It's weird, man. I'm weird like that. I can't even explain it, man. I'm still to this day very introverted, man. So I'm like, if it was up to me, I'd just stay in the house all day. Like just stay with my family, spend time with my family. That's me. I'm cool with that. I don't really have to be around crowds. So that was where the love came, like my sophomore year. Fast forward, I'm done with college, kind of working in the corporate world. Then I finished my football career, kind of got to that age where I had to really start, like, I wasn't going to the next level. So it was time to hang up the cleats. And, for any athlete that's out there, they'll probably be able to tell you, when your athletic career ends, especially when you're in your 20s, and you expect to be playing probably to your late 30s or 40s, like you find a huge void in your life, where you're trying to like figure out like, what is my purpose? My goal was to always go pro, and make millions of dollars and have this lifestyle and take care of my family, but when that doesn't happen, it's almost like, now what do I do with my life? What is my purpose? So that's kind of where I was at, man. I was in a rut, just kind of trying to figure it out and figure out like, what can I be passionate about? And then I'm like, oh, I remember, man, like what about that acting thing? Like, let me see what's up. I don't even know what to do. Let me just get a headshot done, and let me just start. Cause here in Orlando, they have Full Sail, which Full Sail, especially back then, they were doing tons of auditions every Saturday, short films here, student films here. You can go in there and audition for like 5, 6 films in like a matter of an hour. So I started just getting into that, just kind of getting in the flow of everything. And then from there, man, I just started booking some roles, like my first 10 auditions I went on, um, I didn't book either one of those, and I kind of started having some doubt, like, man, maybe I suck, maybe I need to like leave this alone. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, let me just continue to work on what I'm doing. Let me start getting some feedback. Why am I not booking the roles? And I started talking to some of the casting directors. On the smaller level, you can do that. When you start getting on the bigger level, they're not going to give you any feedback. You just have to kind of keep working on it and growing yourself.
Yeah.
But I started getting feedback and they all just tell me, yeah, you're a little, too uptight, you're a little too tense. Yeah, it's part of me being introverted and that fright, going and auditioning and not even knowing these were cold reads. So they give you the lines when you get there. So it's like, you got this page of lines, you haven't had time to study it. So it's like, dang, man, like I keep looking down at the paper. I don't want to mess up on this. It's a nerve-wracking experience when you first start going through that process. But you have to learn to just breathe. A lot of times when we get nervous and we get flustered, we don't breathe, kind of holding our breath, and now our brain doesn't work the right way. If you breathe, it all starts to come back. The world kind of goes at your pace. And it's like, listen, I'm here auditioning. I'm putting on a show. They're here to see me. This is my role to book. And that started being my mentality. And then that relaxed me a lot more. Then I started really like the creativity just started to flow. So then once I started booking some of those roles, man, I just started realizing that, man, I can really do this. The same adrenaline rush I got from sports, I get it from this as well. I'm like, okay, that's something that's moving me, right? I'm telling stories, that are connecting with people, telling amazing stories. Like, this is where I need to be. And then, I get that film with the one that I was telling you about with Kim. That was The Watchman's Edict.
Okay.
And that was my first leading role in a feature film. And I was only 6 months into the craft. So you talk about being like, I'm like, man, can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I bite off more than I can chew? Man, I was going through so much doubt during that time, man. But, shout out to the director, Brian Boykins, shout out to Kim, the entire team, man. They just all like made me feel so welcome. They're like, you're our guy, and I really like appreciate that because you don't get that on every set, man. Like, you can't get it together sometimes. You're nervous. Like, they may just recast. That's the reality of this industry, man. Like, that not everybody's going to be patient with you like that. But that was what really took me off. Cause once we did that film, I said, man, listen, I can do this. It was the toughest thing I ever did, but it also let me know, like, I'm built for this.
Okay.
And that's really how we got to this point now.
What was that film? Watchman's Edict. What was it about?
So I was an investigative. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you. I was an investigative reporter, journalist or whatever. I was like news anchor, and I was big on conspiracy theories. So there was something in Congress, like a bill floating where they were trying to enhance national security.
Mm-hmm.
But what they were really trying to do behind the scenes is implant citizens with a microchip. And it was some next level stuff, man. So, once I find out that's what they're trying to do, I'm the guy that tries to get the news to the world, to the American people. And now because of that, now that wasn't supposed to get leaked to the world. So now I have these dangerous people that are after me. That's kind of, you ever seen the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman?
Yeah, I love it.
Very similar concept.
That's what I was about to, it sounded familiar. I was like, that feels like, all right.
I think that movie was inspired by
Watchman's Edict.
That one. Yeah. I think it was inspired by Enemy of the State.
Yeah. I was trying to give it the credit the other way around, man. Listen, you could still make some money off Will and Gene. God. That sounds like it was a good, that origin story, give or take, it helped because you had patient people. You had a solid team around you, people they understood, especially when you're talking about Full Sail. Like, they're all creatives. These are a bunch of people trying to do something. They understand that every industry that they're trying to break into is super competitive.
Absolutely.
They know that the numbers aren't necessarily for them. Like, there's more chances than not that they won't necessarily be successful. So it was around people that really are passionate still. They're not just trying to make a buck.
Right. That's what I love, man. I love working with people like that. Like the environment on set, when you have a team of people that are there for the passion, I'm telling you, man, there's no comparison. Like, everything just flows so much better, man. Just the environment, creativity, everything. Like, everyone's attitudes, like, everyone's coming there and we're all like striving for this common goal to make the best project or best film that we can make.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the kind of type of chemistry that you need and the synergy that you need for the project to come out successful.
Dope. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you got that experience. Kim is awesome, so I'm sure that was a pleasure.
Shout out to Kim. Shout out to Kim.
Always
I
shout out to
appreciate you,
Kim.
Kim.
She listens. She is one of the best people. I said it off the air, so now I'll say it on air. Kim is one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Every week she's tuning into the show. She gives props. She gives suggestions. Hey, this date is wrong on there. Like, oh, thank you. I'll edit it. So she's real one. So I'm glad that you got
second that. I second that. That's why when she told me about your show, I was like, if she recommended me, I'm like, I already know that, you know, like I'm good, man. I know it's a good environment, you know, good show.
Yeah.
That's just who she is, you know. So there was no doubt in my mind. I said, of course.
I appreciate that. I appreciate her too. It's funny because earlier when you said that one of the best moments or makes you feel really good about what you're creating is when people change a character. Like, I like how you're doing it. I like how you're doing it better. Your idea of what I was writing is better than what I wrote. So let's go with that. I like it when people come on the show and as we're wrapping up, like, I want to come back. This was fun. Hey, can we move? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I that's what it's meant to be. You're supposed to enjoy yourself, laugh with us. Because this is, even though it's called Bourbon and Bullshit, I don't care if you drink. I don't care if you know anything about whiskey. The bottle's a catalyst. For anyone listening at home for the first time, the bottle is, alcohol is a catalyst for kind of replicating that great night you had with friends. That's what
Right.
So,
right on.
Yeah, shouts to Kim, and I'm glad that you guys met. That was a really cool, like, I knew that UCF and Full Sail did movies and all that. I did not think about the fact that they are constantly casting. I've been cast in 2 little movies, and I've done one I did it was a really goofy role, and it was a lot of fun, but it's so time consuming. For anyone who's ever said, yeah, I could just drop in for like, oh, it's a 5-minute scene. You're not going to be there for only 5 minutes. You're going to be.
Hey, let them know, man. Let them know, man. All the people who say they want to be an actor, let them know. It's serious,
You're going to be there for like 5 hours. If that, hey, let's reshoot this.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
I'm saying,
like a woman for one scene sometimes.
Yeah. Like maybe 10 hours. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, I was in the film for 15 minutes. I was there for 8 hours. I was like, what is this? It was a lot of fun. I'm not going to ever shit on that. It was a lot of fun. But for people who think, oh yeah, I could do this. I got an hour and leave. No, you can't. Like, that's why.
It's a lot of sit around and wait. It's a lot of sit around and wait while they're setting up shots, setting up scenes. Like, it's a lot of like
energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to stay I tell them, stay in that script. Just keep looking at that script. You know the lines, but just stay in that script. Yeah. Stay in that script. You know, you got to stay focused. So when it is time to shoot, you already ready. You know.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you said that, though. I'm just so happy you said that for the viewers out there, because so many people, they're like, oh, man, I want to be an actor, man. Put me in a movie. I'm like, and then the moment they get on set, they're going to be like, all right, how long am I here for? How long?
Forever.
So that's why I tell people, if you're not in the craft for the right reasons, if you're not passionate about this, you're probably not going to like it. You see the finished product when a film comes out, or when we do red carpet premieres and everybody dresses up and, you know, people think that you're famous and stuff like that. You know, people, they see that part and they think that that's what they're thinking about. I'm like, no, dude, it's like long days on set. Like, it's normal to be on set 10, 12, 14 hours. It's like, that's a normal day.
It's what you do in the darkness that shines. Like, you have to be there forever. It's real, though. Like, it's real. I had so much fun. I would do it in a heartbeat. If they asked me a couple other times, there's scheduling conflicts, but I had a lot of fun with that group. And part of the reason why they liked me was the goofiness. They said, whenever you drop a random one-liner, we end up keeping that. Like, so just keep improvising. What the hell? Like, the one scene that I enjoyed, I'm just talking about it because it's funny. We were playing, it was a comedy. It was all goofy. And it was these 2 cops in, like, looked like Reno 911 outfits. And I was much younger at the time. And I was playing a college kid. Me and 2 of my friends were walking into a room. Like, let's get another beer. But I didn't talk like that. One of my friends did. I said, why do you always talk like that? Like, it wasn't in the script. He's like, what? I was like, you don't sound like that, Greg. He's like, I'm sorry. and people are dying. They're like, what the hell was that? They're like, whatever that was, do it again. Just call him out on it. I was like, okay. Like, I was just being funny.
Like, you just felt it in that moment. You just felt it. Like, that's just that was it. Yeah, man. That's where some of the best creativity comes from, man. You just feel the moment.
Yeah.
So you live in you're present in the moment, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I would happily do it again if I could be a little bit like if I could be goofy and shit. But that range, obviously, that takes a long time to craft.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would always be the funny friend that either dies in a horror movie or is just like the third person, like somewhere in the
I can
background.
see that. I can see that.
Is it a rom com? I'm the goofy friend that gets you into trouble. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, I have a koala. I stole this. We got to go. What the fuck is going on here? Like, what are you? But that's good, man. I'm glad that you did that. Now I got to ask you a question because we talked about movies. Did you ever end up doing anything like plays or anything Broadway or on stage, or was it always just your love was film, and like in that medium and nothing else?
Yeah, so my passion and my love is really in film.
Okay.
Like I just love that. Now, with that being said, during the pandemic, a few years back, I actually did my first stage play. Because during the pandemic, we had a little bit more time on our hands. So I love the experience I did with the stage play. I'm like, man, it's different because you get you're live. It's live, live audience. They're reacting to what you're doing in that moment. Like with film, you don't get that. It's like, all right, take one, cut, then people don't see it until it's all fully edited.
Yep.
So with play, you get instant gratification. If you say something that's funny, you hear the whole crowd laugh. You're projecting further. You have to get your voice to that back wall, where everyone can hear you. So it's more of like a performance, right? And while you're still staying in character. So I would urge any actor who, even if your passion is film, I would urge you to do stage plays if you can, as many as you can, because stage plays make you a lot sharper as an actor. With stage plays, you have one shot. You have one shot to do it, right? And it's live. So if you mess up on the line, you can't just be like, oh shoot, I messed up on that. You can't stop.
Yeah.
Listen, the audience doesn't know you just messed up. Only you do. So if you continue to roll with it, right? Keep your composure. You never know.
Did you learn that in football too?
Huh?
Did you learn that in football too? If you make a mistake, make it big.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And then next play mentality. Next play, we're going to dwell on this. Is next play.
You translate.
All right, now I know what I did. I know what I need to correct. Next play. So it just gets you locked in, and that helps in film because, a lot of times, you'll get upset and someone will mess up on the line and they'll just stop, or they'll like, it'll throw them off even in auditions, right? Someone messes up on the line, they'll be like, oh, shoot. And when you mess up, what happens is, without you even realizing it, you come out of character and you become yourself again, right? And now you're just reading lines. That's when you don't get booked. When they're looking on the other side, because I've cast a couple of projects now, so I now know the process. I know what people are looking for. I know what performance. You want someone to just make you not even stop. You want just for you to sit back, not even think about the lines that they're saying. Just see them because their performance is so captivating. It's like they're so believable in that character. That's what they're looking for. Yeah. So stage plays, it just makes you so much more sharp than anything else, because with film, you can make a couple of mistakes and they can just say take two, and now you get another chance at it. Stage plays, you have to know all your lines. You got to know them. You got to know the story. You got to understand the character. You have to know your scene partner's lines, right? So if they mess up, you got to be able to bring them out to where it doesn't look like they messed up, right? Mm-hmm. So if they skip a line and there was something important they missed, you got to be able to bring them back to that. So it's like it requires laser focus. It requires laser focus with stage plays. And I'm like, that's the part I loved about it. But my favorite actor is Denzel, right? And I studied the greats, man, like Denzel, your Al Pacinos of the world, your Robert De Niro's. Those dudes, when they're not doing films, you know what they're doing?
Practicing. Stage
plays, man, they're doing theater. That's their training. That's their conditioning. That's how they stay sharp. So then when they do go to a film, it's like, man, they're sharp, man. They don't miss. Those guys don't miss, man. Every movie they do is like classics.
Yeah.
And that's how they get that good from theater. Theater is what got them that good.
That's why I ask. I think that you literally hit everything on the head that I was thinking about it, because when you think about even the people from one of the, everyone's popular. When everyone suddenly got into musicals and plays, it was all Hamilton. I get it. But even in their situation where you're thinking of that level of it, you have to execute perfectly, because you sing a note off key, you do a line off key, you do anything like that requires a next level amount of practice, training, focus, and to your point, improv to an extent. Because if a mistake does happen, Only you know that was a mistake. I think it's part of the play. I think it's part of the scene. Lie to me. You already are. You're already up there putting me in a different world. I don't know what the rules are of that world. So yeah, I was gonna you hit on the head exactly what I was about to ask, because when we think about now, we did see an influx of people going to plays, musicals, all that. Hamilton got popular. Suddenly, oh, I love musicals. No, you didn't, Peggy. Relax. You didn't until Lin-Manuel Miranda told you should. But we're here. Let's go enjoy it together. I don't care what brought you here. But then when people go back and start watching these musicals, one of those, The Waitress, one about that lady with pies and all that. It was a fantastic play. I loved every single moment of it. But there were lines in there that when I saw them more than once, I was like, one of these was wrong. It's only because I saw it so often, saw it more than once. And I was like, but I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't in it twice, like that initial experience. So seeing them so flawlessly executed for all intents and purposes, they could say there are two different versions of this goddamn play.
Absolutely.
And I would have to believe it because that's how well they executed it. So that translated to how you said, hey, break. You have 25 minutes to go do your trailer, do whatever you need to, go eat, go rehydrate, refocus, and you can be back in it.
Right.
Is it different? There are different skill sets, obviously, because you are now when you're in a stage crew and everyone's watching it, feels very technical and still remaining in a world that they don't exist.
Right.
Is different than when you feel you're putting a performance on a stage where I've little experience I've had doing Glee Club and all those singing things or whatever, is that made me feel more re-energized me. Seeing in the real-time reactions to what you're doing, going, all right, I'm knocking it out the park. As opposed to everyone just very technical, lights quiet, people doing a sandwich in the background. I was like, Greg, stop being
live, man.
in front of me?
It's live. Yeah. You know what it did for me, man? It's deep, man, but it put me back on the football field. It's like, all right, it's Friday Night Lights, man.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go out. That's what it did for me.
Stage acting really?
Yeah, it made me feel like I was right back there on that football field, man, or the basketball court. Like, now they're here to see me, man. I got to put on a show. Yeah. You know, that adrenaline, man, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's that, it gives me that passion. It gives me life. Yeah. And, one of the cool things about stage plays and theater, a lot of times you don't just do it one time. Yeah. Like we did 3 shows, right? We did it 3 times. We did it on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, Friday night. We did it on a Saturday afternoon, and then we did Saturday night. So we did it. So this play was like
what was the name of the play?
It was what was the name of it? It's called He Loves Me Not. He Loves Me Not. So it was about a couple that they were having bad issues in their marriage.
Okay.
Right. And the woman was thinking about leaving and all that stuff. And then, the play just kind of unfolds and you see why people act certain ways and all this crazy stuff that's going on in the family and all that stuff. And I was kind of the dude that was I wouldn't call me the villain, but I was a dude that kind of brought the mood down in every scene.
Really?
I would do, yeah, man. They made me that guy again, versatile. I'm I can switch it up. So when for instance, we're having a family get together. Everybody's on the floor dancing. They ask me to come around. I don't even want to dance. I don't want to be around anybody. I'm just the one that brings I make every mood salty.
Yeah.
I'm always just in my feelings about something. But then
the function to just sit there and not hang out. What are you doing? That guy.
That's it, man. So it was, I would be the one that would isolate, and then it's it was pretty cool, man. But man, my character, man, I think I really connected well with the audience, man. So I had a son in that play, and if this was real life type stuff, right? I had a son who was grown. He was grown, in the early 20s in culinary art school, right? And then he basically I thought, and everybody else thought he was gay within the play.
Yeah.
Right. They thought he was gay or whatnot. And as a father, especially being a former athlete, that's tough. It's tough to deal with that, and that's something that's real life situations that, some people deal with that now. And it's how do you handle that? Do I accept that? Do I just love on him? This is what my character was kind of going through as that play was going on. And then what happens is you end up finding out why my character is like that. And you find out what happened to my character when he was young, so it's a whole bunch of stuff that just unfolds. So it was one of those characters, man, that, dude, I had to dissect it, man. It was a lot. It was a heavy character to play.
Yeah.
So to do that 3 times, it was, and they get better every time. When you do it, everybody just starts to lock in. Every time you do that first one is almost like that warm up, right? And then the second one is like everybody's tight. And then that Saturday night, that's when all the people were there. It's like Friday Night Lights. It was like, man, we killed it, man. We knocked it out of the park. And I was like, once I get more time on my hand, I would love to do more stage plays, but it's like, it's a lot more rehearsal time. You're rehearsing like 3-4 days a week, probably for like a couple of months before you do the play. And then you go on the road and you do it in all these different cities and stuff, So I'm like, with my life and my schedule, it's like, yeah. So that's the only reason why I haven't done more. It's because of my busy life. But I would love to, though.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that. Like you said, also you have to build that chemistry with the person across from you. You have to know where your footing is. You have to know where lights are going to hit. There's a little bit of different things and nuances. So yeah, that's time consuming for sure. Yeah,
crazy, man.
Yeah, I praise those people who could do that nonstop, never really break away from character. And then when those characters who are like you said, you have to dissect that character, build yourself up, understand that depth of the character, only give it so you can have that baseline of why you got to that point and how to kind of put yourself in that mindset. He's like, so this person had this terrible upbringing with this bad situation, with all this. That makes sense why he acts that way.
Exactly.
So you have to it helps you be able to get your mind in that space faster and more efficiently by understanding that, which is method acting and all. I think good acting in general. If I just want to walk in and be Hector from Fast and Furious and just be a Hispanic gangster, maybe not as deep.
Right.
But yeah, that's dope. I like that you kind of spoke about how that stage plays lead directly into everything else and make you sharper as a screen actor, so to speak.
Absolutely, man. So that's why, like I said, anyone listening out there that want to get an acting or is dope doing films, highly recommend doing at least one stage play. At least do one, because it will only help you.
And earlier, you brought something up that I just want to kind of bring back. Yes, I think it's funny. You know how you said naturally you're an introvert, but when you're acting, it's someone else, so it doesn't matter. That's me on this show. Naturally, I just want to hang out with my dogs, watch TV, and do nothing. Me and my fiance. The moment I press record, it's like, hey guys, what's going on? And high energy, blah, blah, because of corporate jobs and all that. You're exhausted at all times. We'll get into who I am in 9 to 5 later on. But it's one of those things I think is interesting because introverts, there's that theory, there's the thought process where you wear a mask in public. Let me just utilize it for financial gain and become an actor for entertainment. I just shifted the mask a little bit. So it's an interesting psychological thing. But
yeah,
I do want to talk to you a little bit about, because I know you have people over. I don't want to keep you too late. So run through a couple more of these questions, unless you got time. UCF lost anyway.
Yeah, I got some time for you. Yeah.
All right. I know UCF lost and all that, so probably didn't need to. Actually, I don't know if they lost. They might have come back.
I'm sure not. I don't think they did. It wasn't going good, man. Just the momentum of the game.
You said, I know you talked about digital creation. I saw some movies and stuff like that. Tell me about the digital creation. Like, are you filming? Like, I see this on your page. What is this about?
Oh, so digital creator, that's what Facebook labels me, actually. So that means I'm just a part of that. Like, I now get paid to be an influencer, like that's the first ones that start compensating me for like my post, so like it's some monetization program that they have on there.
Okay. I was like, are you filming now too? Like,
no. That's just what they call me. Like, they put that title. I don't even put that title. They just label me as that.
So I thought you were spinning off. I was going to ask you if that was like a side project or something. So I'm sorry. I was like, damn, Trey, you already have a busy life. You're just going to keep going? More stuff?
Hey, listen, the more I can make it in a passive way, that's the goal, right? Get some of my time back.
That's true. You said earlier, then we'll move from that. You said earlier that one of your favorite actors is Denzel. Is that by far that's by far your favorite actor?
He's the GOAT, man.
He's on your Mount Rushmore?
You said, who's on Mount Rushmore?
So I'm saying he's definitely part of your Mount Rushmore of actors.
Oh, yeah, he's number one on there. Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Who would be the other four? How many presidents are on Mount Rushmore, actually?
It's 4, right?
Yeah.
4 total?
4.
So the other 3?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is a tough one, man, because it's like, it's hard to go into like different genres. And I'm gonna go Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Denzel. I'm gonna go Leonardo DiCaprio.
Really?
Absolutely,
He's
man.
good. He's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's 4 people.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Jamie Foxx.
I was not expecting that.
Oh yeah, that dude can do everything, man. There's nothing he can't do.
Okay.
So I'm looking at like versatility, like range, like
Okay.
it's like he can do everything. And then I'm gonna go with it's a tough one, man. I'll just go Will Smith. I'll go Will Smith.
Really? Huh.
I'll just go. Now there's a lot. So there's a lot because I was gonna say Daniel Day-Lewis because like that dude, he just comes out and just wins Oscars every time he comes out.
He does.
But like I'll be honest, man, like his performances, they captivate me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I guess I'm looking at the ones who are doing like the most movies and like so they like he doesn't do as many because he does a lot of theater though. He does a lot of stage plays. Like he lives on the stage. But I guess I'm looking at guys who've done it for a long time, whose films are doing crazy numbers box office wise. You know, before I'll say before he died, I'll say instead of Will Smith, I would probably say like Chadwick Boseman because he was
so much.
He was somebody who was a little bit younger, so I connect with a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like I seen him kind of come up, and like that dude was like his range was crazy, man.
Yeah.
But so I will put them two right there. I'll just say like Chadwick Boseman or Will Smith, but Will Smith because he did it so much longer. And you know, just to see him kind of come from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air doing like comedy to becoming like the biggest, you know, star on the planet, you know, to doing like he can still do serious roles, he can do the rom-coms. Like I look at guys who kind of have careers that I would want to have.
Okay.
And they're versatile. They play so many different types of roles, man, and they kill them.
Yeah.
You know, like they bodied them.
Yeah, Jamie and Ray for sure. I like Jamie Foxx. I think it just hey, each Mount Rushmore their own. I think that I'm surprised he was your third. That's why I was like,
well, not in any particular order. That's just how I thought about him.
Cool. I was like third over Will. I was like,
I'm gonna say Denzel number 1, Leonardo DiCaprio number 2, and then however else you want to do it after that. But those are like the two that like anything they do, man, I watch it and I'm just like I'm blown away because they transform like completely.
The Django Unchained. Yep. I'm thinking about like the movies I've seen. I like him in Collateral. I liked him in Miami Vice. A lot of people didn't like Miami Vice. I actually enjoyed that movie. That whole grainy Michael Bay look or whatever the heck they were going for. Was it Michael Bay? Who did Miami Vice?
Yeah, it was Michael Bay. See, I didn't like that one, man.
I liked it.
I didn't like it. It just like I felt like it should have been bigger with Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. Like I felt like, dude, like to me the plot of it was just like kind of bland.
No, the plot made no damn sense. But I liked the cinematography. I liked them as actors. I liked Colin Farrell. That was when he was still really, really good. He's still great, but like he was still like the hot.
Have you seen him in The Penguin?
Oh, I heard he's fucking fantastic.
I just watched the first episode yesterday. It doesn't even seem like it's him.
Oh, I gotta see it.
Dude, trust me. If there's anything you watch next, watch Penguin, dude. Like there's only 3 episodes out right now, so I have to watch the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
He like, oh my God, I don't even know it's him. Like if someone would have told me that was him, there's no way you're gonna think it's him. There's no way. Like he has the New York accent, you know, Gotham City, like the mobster type accent. He's fat, you know, like, you know, he does the penguin walk, you know, it's like all this stuff. I'm like, man, he's normally a pretty boy. Yeah, he waddles, you know, he's normally a pretty boy. You know, Colin Farrell has always been like a, you know, Hollywood bad boy, you know, so.
Gorgeous man. Like, so yeah, to go from that, look, it's 2024. I can say a man is gorgeous. Like, in a normal without the makeup on, hey, I understand why you got cast. Like, so it's the same thing Matthew McConaughey did, where just like, I'm just going to take away my aesthetics to it. So, I got to check it out. I think what's cool, now that we've talked about Jamie kind of melding himself, doing other movies, part of the thing, I'm going to jump over to Will real quick, prior to the slap. Because now I think he's under, afterwards he did get a lot of scrutiny, right? Got a lot of negative attention. But for a good amount of time, I thought Will was just always playing him with a little bit of a volume up or a little switch to it, but he always just kept portraying himself. And he's a very charming, great dude. Same thing with Ryan Reynolds. They just play themselves with a little bit higher. But then Will showed Pursuit of Happiness, 7 Pounds, all this like range. So he started showing that range, and I was like, this is when he started Ali. He started getting appreciated more for his range, and it's wild that now this is where I go back to Jamie. Jamie only started doing music and comedy. He started doing music and comedy because he wanted to become an actor, or was some shape or form like that. He was doing one project because he wanted to use it as a way to get in. So he did comedy to get into music, to get into bigger acting, because he wanted to be taken serious, and he knew that no one was taking him serious. So he's like, I'm gonna be funny. You can't ignore me making you laugh. You can't turn that off.
Right.
Now that you respect this, I'm gonna do this. Now that you respect this, I'm gonna do this. So he just kept checking boxes. So I think maybe I just don't appreciate him enough. And now sitting back and kind of thinking of his path, because you had me there I was like, I don't know if Jamie would be up there. You know.
Well, I'll tell you who could be interchangeable with him.
No.
I just thought about this.
I don't want you changing.
No. Because I just thought about it. I have more time to think about it. Like it was kind of on the spot. Tom Hanks has to be up there for me, because Tom Hanks literally, like, that dude transforms like completely.
Yeah.
Like every single time. And I'm talking like, I've been watching, even like Forrest Gump is one of the biggest movies ever done.
Yep.
Right. And to see him do that, and then like whatever the movie was called, Big, you know, I wish I was Big. And then like to see him do this little new one, like Otis, you know, he's one of those character actors, man. Like you could put him in whatever and he's going to be believable in it. So I would say Tom Hanks, man. Like he's another dude that doesn't really miss, man.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code on that. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. I don't know how much you talk to Kim. She's shaking her fist at the air listening to this. She hates Tom Hanks. She absolutely hates him. She says he can't act. He's just the same dude. Everything. She hates him.
No,
I promise you, she hates him. I swear at everything. We got into this on our previous show, all the time. She hates him, and I hate Jared Leto. I hate Jared Leto so much. As an actor, I hate him so much.
Now, I've heard that a lot, though. A lot of people hate Jared Leto, but I've never heard people hate Tom Hanks, man. I've never heard that, man.
That's why it was so crazy to us. I was like, people don't hate Tom Hanks. There are like 4 people in the world no one hates. No one hates Keanu. No one hates Tom Hanks. Like, there are like 4 people that just everyone likes. I was like, oh, I like them. No one hates Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
They're like, they're literally like not many people. I forget who the 4th is, but they're like not many actors that anyone hates. And she's like, I hate Tom Hanks. So, but I do respect that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I never fully understood it, but I like messing with her about it.
Yeah, I feel like that dude, man. I feel like he transformed every time, man. Like you go from just Philadelphia, you know, you go to Forrest Gump, you know, in a League of Their Own. Like I feel like Castaway. Yep. Like he's, and then what was the one with him and Leonardo DiCaprio? DiCaprio was writing, he was still in the checks.
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. Like, I'm just looking at all the things that he does, man. And it's like, bro, like Tom Hanks, like, doesn't miss, man.
Not often.
Like, and he's different in every one, because whatever role he plays, I feel like he's believable. I'm like, that's what he looks like he does for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard for me to see him be like regular Tom Hanks, see him knowing that he did Forrest Gump. Like, he really seemed like he was like that.
Yeah.
You know, like just Gen A, you know, just talking like that, like life is like a box of chocolates, just all those things. I'm like, he embodies it. So I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. That's the first time I've heard that about Tom Hanks.
She told me that. She told me and Ken. Ken was the main host, and we were, who hates Tom Hanks? How could you? Why? What's going on? So to this day, is one of the running jokes. Is just every time Tom Hanks does anything good, we say, hey, Kim, guess who's releasing a new movie? But yeah, I think just the quick Mount Rushmore for me, Denzel is obviously up there. You mentioned him real briefly, Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he has to be up there. I like almost everything he does. But to your point, he does quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. He rarely comes out, but it's a banger. The moment you see Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm watching it. It's going to be great. Whatever he does in it is going to be fucking fantastic.
Well, I know he's gonna be fantastic.
Oh yeah, I
You know,
know.
some of his films that he's done, like they weren't like films I really loved, but I'm like his performance.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a storyline.
Yep.
You know, like that's what you talk about. Like you don't even talk about the film as much as more so his performance.
Now, someone who's impressed me as an actor, and I think doesn't. I mentioned him real quick is Matthew McConaughey in
Oh yeah, he's solid, man. Solid.
True Detective, not necessarily big screen, but when I saw him in True Detective, I was like, who the fuck is this? I love this version of Matthew McConaughey. He's fucking fantastic. And I don't know, man. It's tough. You know way more actors than I do. I know people that when I see them in a film, I want to watch it, but they're not necessarily grade A top tier actors. So it's tough. You have, like thinking from a perspective of talent versus like entertainment. You
Right.
It's
a tough list to make, man. It's tough.
Yeah, entertainment wise, I Brian Reynolds is in something, I'm gonna watch it. Kevin Hart's in something, I'm gonna watch it. The Rock's in something, I know it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna watch it. I know it's gonna be bad. I'm not. No one is watching Jumanji, the new one, because it's the Oscar award winning movie. I'm gonna still watch it. I'm gonna watch every single one that comes out. So like, if I had to throw just a fourth, this is tough. It's so fucking tough. Man. It's so awful. Then there's like female leads that I'm like, I love her. I told my fiance right now, if Tina Fey showed up and just started making jokes around me, I'm leaving. I gotta go.
Yeah. She's hilarious, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a really good question. What we're probably gonna put on the page too is like, who's your like Mount Rushmore of actors and actresses? Because I think you have to break it down to subcategories. Who is an intense, like the dude who played Hannibal Lecter, Mark Masson, whatever his name is in the show, Anthony Hopkins, like those are fantastic actors.
Hopkins could be on like anyone's list, man. Yeah.
There's
that dude is a whole other level of acting, man.
Russell Crowe, fantastic.
Oh man, I love Russell Crowe, man.
Yeah, Johnny Depp, fucking. There's Sami Malek.
That's another dude. He's versatile as heck, man. Johnny Depp is like, but he's weird, man. Like
that's the best kind of person.
He truly embodied that. He's like weird, dude. Like them talking regular. It's like like, what's up with you, man? Like he can't even talk really. Oh, but when he played those characters, man, listen, you better believe it. You're gonna believe it. What was the one that he did? Was it Black? What was it? Where he played Whitey Bulger, Black Mass or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about Ethan Hawke. Wait.
No. It was Johnny Depp. He played Whitey Bulger. I think it was Black Mass, man. It was a biopic.
Oh yeah. Whitey Bulger.
Man, he killed that role, man. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, you're right. William Whitey Bulger, the American crime boss who led. Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's another one who has that ability. Like there are some fucking great actors and actresses out there.
Johnny Depp was scary in that one, man. Bro, he really embodied that. I'm like, if he was really like that in real life, he'd be a scary dude.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Hardy. There are a couple people he played. Tom Hardy. People won't even remember because he stacked Bane, all that. He played this New Zealand gangster from called Charles Bronson or whatever he called himself that, and he was scary as shit in that. I'm like, how are you? You seem so funny in all these like rom-coms that you've been in. What the fuck is going on? So, I think you know what I'll do. Yeah, no, that's too tough. I can't do it. Sorry.
You know what's crazy with Tom Hardy, man? Like Tom Hardy, like what was the film that Leonardo DiCaprio finally got the Oscar for? Where he was out there in the snow.
Revenant.
You know, the Revenant. Dude, Tom Hardy to me outperformed Leonardo DiCaprio in that film. His performance was like, and I'm like, dude, like, and that was like the second film he did with Leonardo DiCaprio because they were in the what was it? The
Inception.
There you go. Like, I didn't even know that was Tom Hardy in that one. I didn't really know who he was then. I was like, this young dude is coming up. I'm like, he's up next. I'm like, this dude is solid. And then I see him in The Revenant. Like his performance, he to me to outperform Leonardo DiCaprio, like it just doesn't happen.
No,
so when I see him do that, I'm like, yeah, Tom Hardy. Listen, he could be on anybody's list as well, as far as I'm concerned, man. He's solid.
Tom Hardy does not get his flowers, that's for sure. Like he does right now, like he's just stuck in Venom. But he's done Mad Max. He's done a couple other things that were bangers. George Orwell's 1984. Apparently he's doing something there. He was in Capone, Dunkirk. He was in that.
He has a new Venom. He has a new Venom coming out.
Yeah, the show I was gonna bring up. This is a show called Taboo. It scored like an 8.3. It came out in 2017. Tom Hardy has 8 episodes of it. Fantastic in it. I love Tom Hardy in almost everything he does. Does not get his flowers. Does not get his flowers.
Hey, well, we're gonna give him his flowers right now, man. He's one of the dopest. He's one of the dopest actors in the game right now, and that's coming from another fellow actor myself. I'm like, everything he watches, everything he does, I watch it, man. And I study his work for sure.
Yeah, he is good and quick too. It just seems like he could take on that persona of whoever he's working as.
Yeah, actually, I would say, man, if he wouldn't have died so early, Heath Ledger, dude.
Oh,
there you go. That's a good one right there. He's a good filler for. Heath Ledger was on that. He was on that path, man.
Mm-hmm.
His role as Joker, man, like it's inspired a whole generation, dude. Now everybody tries to just outdo that one, man. Yeah. It's like they can't.
Yeah, Jared Leto could never. Man.
Yeah, bro, they cut all his lines, man. They cut all his scenes out. He was pissed.
Oh yeah, because they changed directors like 3 separate times and like writers a couple times, and let's make this funnier than serious because Guardians was funny, so people like that. Like that must be frustrating as an actor. Of like you're led and directed a certain way, and they're like, yeah, we don't like it. That's not me. That's you, and that's probably what Jared felt. I don't.
He only had like 7. It was crazy. He only had like 7 minutes of screen time in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and they were bringing up that movie and displaying it to everyone, and like, oh my god, advertising it as he was going to be a major player in that movie, and we got 7 minutes, like you said, and the rest of the movie is mainly Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
which wasn't bad. I'm not mad at them. But for anyone who went into it saying like, "Oh, I can't wait for the Joker," it's like, "Oh, it's Jared Leto." I don't know if we really want it. Fuck you, Jared Leto. I like 30 Seconds to Mars. I like your music. Stay there. Just chill. Fucking can't be great at everything, sir. So we talked about people that inspire you, motivate you in the industry, and people that you like, Denzel, all these actors. Now, I'm going to ask you a loaded question. I've already asked you in advance, so hopefully you have a list. What are your favorite 5 movies and briefly why?
So I'm going to go Denzel, Training Day.
Ooh.
Because when he did that, man, like he had only played like good guy roles. He was always kind of like the hero and, or just like biopic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when he did that, man, it was just a game changer. I'm like, man, like that's one of the movies that I will literally watch anytime I catch it on TV or anything on a platform. Like if I see it and it's on like my live TV streaming, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
It's that good, man. Like he showed me what you can do as an actor, because like I watched some of the behind the scenes on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the lines he actually improv, like how you said it happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, improv, and the director's like, all right, we just gonna leave this in. This is better than what's on the script.
Yeah.
He covered the script, like the premises of the scene, but it was just he was still in the character. He was in the moment. Certain things came out, and I'm like, man, half the movie was like him improving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's dope, man. Just to see that's to do something like that and to have it work, you have to be so in tune with your character, so that's why Training Day, and that's what he got the Oscar for it. Well deserved. Should have got it for Malcolm X before that, but hey, listen.
I was about to say, like,
you should have got it for that. Yeah.
Malcolm X should have been the first one. This should have been his second or third by Training Day.
That's usually how they do it though, man. When you're supposed to get it, you usually get it the next time.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Training Day. So this is a funny one, right? This is a funny one. And you'll probably laugh. Boogie Nights. Boogie. Listen, man.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It's a good movie. It's annoying how good of a movie that is too, because Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, man. Like, so I used to watch that in college all the time. All my friends in college, they used to think I was weird. Like they just thought I was just walking around with like a flick, because I had the VHS back in the day, right? I had the VHS, and then the DVD, the collector's edition. So you can see all the behind the scenes. They're like, man, what is this? Why are you watching? I'm like, you guys have to watch this with me and you'll see why it's good. Once it starts off and they see like kind of what it's about, it's like, nope, I don't want to watch this. And they turn it off. But I'm like, there's so many life lessons in that film, man. Like you see this dude who just comes from nothing, broken home, comes up, becomes like a star, right? Famous, all the stuff. And then you see he starts hanging around with the wrong people, right? And then you see how fast it can be taken away. Then he had to humble himself, go back to Jet. And then it's like he got back to where he was supposed to be. And it was like, bro, this is my purpose. So it's like a real life cycle story of like how real life is. That's what I love about Boogie Nights. 3, I'm gonna go with Any Given Sunday. That's what Jamie Foxx, football. Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J.
Who's the quarterback? I always forget. No, the quarterback that he took his job
Dennis
for.
Quaid.
There
Dennis Quaid. But then, Willie B. Jamie Foxx is the quarterback that takes his position. Willie B.
I have that movie. I know, but I always forget Dennis Quaid's name. Like I always forget his name.
Al Pacino's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Al Pacino, man, that movie
LT was actually amazing. In the movie.
Yeah. So like that's one of my favorites. That's kind of from the sports background. That's just kind of like just the era when it came out. It was like that was one of the biggest movies, man. Like Jamie Foxx killed. That's when I became a huge Jamie Foxx fan because I'm like, man, just the way he was telling the story, just like how he had to, and you learned a lot about behind the scenes of football, like how some of these dudes, like how they, like he was talking about how black quarterbacks, they would try to turn them into DBs because they had quick feet. And he was like, they don't want to let him be a true passer. They're like, yeah, you run too much. So he was like, that's what happened to him in college. That's why he didn't get drafted high because, he got hurt in college because they had him out there tackling. So he tells that story. And then it's like, now he finally gets to the league. And then it's like, you want him to now not be so good because the dude was older and on his way out. He got hurt. Now he's ready to come back. So now you want to put me back on the bench? Man, like my whole career. So I'm like, I just loved it, man. Him and Al Pacino, their scenes are like legendary. So I love that. It's just football, just kind of seeing how contracts work, agents, how these doctors work, how they're like, hey, if this player's hurt, we got to get him on the field. You see like how grimy it is behind the scenes. So that's what I really loved about that movie because, having my athletic background, I resonated with that.
I do want to, if you don't mind me chiming in, because one of the things I really enjoyed about that, you brought up real briefly, but that behind the scenes, like the back office stuff, when one guy, LT was telling another player, he's like, yeah, this is what, like, you need 2 of these pills, 5 of these pills, blah, blah, like going through like the grocery list of shit to just get on to just exist. He's like, oh, that's just for Monday. What? And I know that a lot of players in the NFL felt some kind of way about it too. It even spun up when ESPN released a show called Playmakers. I don't know if you remember watching that show.
I do. Yep.
That show was so fucking good. It was such a really good show. It got canceled because the NFL's like, please stop telling the truth.
Right.
Please stop.
They don't want people to see behind the scenes. Yeah.
Like, we can't be a family-friendly league if this is what we're telling people we do. Please, ESPN, stop telling people the truth, and had to cancel that after a couple seasons. Sorry, I remember the show. I remember how pissed the NFL was, and it was like, oh, no, this is nowhere near a depiction of real life. Meanwhile, they're using real-life storylines, like when the gay player got drafted and how that was going to translate, and people were like, so you're saying that's not a real-life event that just happened a couple weeks ago? No? All right. But, all right, so number 4. What's number 4 for you?
Number 4, I'm going to go with another Denzel, man. I'm going to go with American Gangster, where he portrayed Frank Lucas. Love that movie, man. Denzel and Russell Crowe, man. Well, you can't ask for any better than that, man. Everyone in that movie was like just lights out, man. Like everyone was like, that film was just amazing. And then just to hear the story of how Frank Lucas made all this money, how he was getting the stuff in, like, off the, I was getting it in through the military caskets and everything. Like, that was crazy. I'm like, dude, that was such futuristic thinking. How do I cut out the middleman? Kind of what Walmart does, kind of what online shopping does. I'm like, he was doing it back like in the 70s, man. He went over to Korea, set up the connection. I'm like, that's crazy. So just seeing that story, and then of course it's Denzel playing it. They said Denzel made him look a lot rawer than what he was in real life. So
really,
they said Denzel took him to a whole nother level, man. Like just his nuances and everything. Like how Denzel does, man. He just because he made everyone, when you watch that movie, you actually liked this character. You started rooting for it. It's like, man, I hope they don't catch that last shipment, man. Let him get that last shipment in.
I know what happens in real life, but let's hope. Like,
right.
That's
that's the end.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think when a character makes you fall in love with a villain, there's a whole fucking psychological subgenre thing there. But when a character makes you so enthralled and you're rooting for them and all that, it's like, yeah, this is a fucking great actor. This is a great movie. This is perfect. All right. I respect that. American Gangster. Good pick.
Hey, now I'm gonna give you one honorable mention, and then I'll give you number 5. I gotta give one honorable mention because Cruel Intentions, one of my all-time favorites, man. Like,
wow.
dude, I'm like, that's what I'm telling you, dude. When I say I'm like versatile, I'm like, dude, Cruel Intentions was like my favorite movie as a teenager, man, coming up. Like, that movie was everything to me, man. I was like, I'm like, I gotta be like Sebastian, man. Sebastian got he got the nice car, the drop top. I'm like, man.
So you did sports. You try to get like Sebastian, get all the ladies,
Man, listen, just the lifestyle, just having that huge like mansion, and he had the indoor pool, all this stuff. I'm like, man. And then he was just so smart. He always wrote in his journal. I'm like, man, this movie is off the chain, man. I'm like, this stuff probably happens in some of these like rich uppity schools, like it was crazy, man. It just kind of gave me some exposure on a world that I'd never seen before. And as I watched it as a youngster when it first came out, it was more entertainment to me. But then when I watch it as an adult, I'm like, man, this shit. You see different things when you watch it, when you're older. So that's my honorable mention. Like, that movie right there, man, was just next level for me. And again, that's not a movie that won a lot of awards or anything like that. But it was, when it came out, that movie was huge, man. It was huge in my world. Like, teenagers, like, everyone went and seen it.
Oh, I'm not mad at it.
So,
I'm not ever mad at a movie that doesn't win an award. I think you could be fantastic and never win shit.
Yep. Yep. So, and awards don't validate you either. Like, a lot of times you don't get your flowers until after it's too late. That's the truest statement I've ever heard. So that's why I don't do it for the awards. But number 5.
Yes, sir.
So number 5, I'm gonna have to go with what did I have? Number 5. So newer. It's kind of, it's in the superhero world, but I'm gonna go with Black Panther. I mean, that movie, man, they got it right, man. Everything was, if there was a perfect movie that I've seen, that was it, man. It was perfect all around, just storyline, the acting, the styles, the fashion, the color coordinations, the way it was shot, everything, man, the soundtrack, just again, Chadwick Boseman, man, like, dude, he just embodied Black Panther, man, just vibranium, just seeing all that stuff, the culture. Like, it was like, that movie was a movie for the culture, man. So that's proud. That would have to be number 5. And that's the newest one on my list. That's the newest one on there.
I loved Black Panther. I actually got into a whole argument with someone about it. They did the whole, I know why the movie's popular. It's like, be fucking careful, because that movie's fantastic. curse you out. I ended up cursing him out, bring up every single fact. I was like, did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know this? It was like, well, sorry, I get really passionate. I call myself the Credible Hulk. If you piss me off, I'm bringing fact-based arguments.
New York, it's the New York in you.
No, I'm always hanging out happy, but the moment you piss me off, I'm gonna bring fact-based arguments to prove you wrong. We're gonna take a quick break. Last break, and then we're gonna round out the episode. But I want to make sure that we give a shout out to Midnight Fables Cabaret. Speaking of stage work and everything like that, we have Burlesque Conservatory. And the Big Bang Boom Collective is a burlesque conservatory group here based out of Orlando. They do fantastic work, and they are massive. So we're going to give them a quick shout out and be right back.
Sponsor of Bourbon and Bullshit, Big Bang Boom Collective is Orlando's burlesque and cabaret entertainment group, comprised of Midnight Fables Cabaret, Big Bang Boom Cabaret, and Foxy's Den. Follow us on Instagram at Big Bang Boom Collective, or join our VIP email list for info on upcoming shows by visiting www.bigbangboomcollective.com.
All right. So they're massive. They recently did this. They do something called a burlesque conservatory. So Troy, not to take up too much more. If burlesque is like is an art form, they do stage performances, all this stuff, but they actually teach it too. So students, women, men, anyone who wants to go on and do a performance, they guide you through everything. It's a 14-week course and help you with costuming, all that stuff. And they actually had a show yesterday, and it was a couple of people that I did not anticipate being part of it. 2 different worlds collided. I have a friend who is a doctor, a collegiate athlete, a lifelong athlete, was a CrossFit competitor, all this stuff, She's always been very confident, stacked, everything. She's like, I actually want to do this because I want to build my self-esteem and confidence. He's like, the whole time, I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, there's just some things I'm not confident in. Athletic prowess? Yeah. Being in front of a stage? Absolutely the hell not. And she does cosplaying, does the acting, like stuff like that on the side. And she's like, yeah, I've never actually been on a stage and performed. So this is going to be a big move for me. So shout out to Megs. She performed yesterday and it was a really good show to see. So always rooting for the homies. Always rooting for the homies.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But your 5 favorite movies of all time. Those are interesting. Cruel Intentions, I think, is cool because I think that there's a lot of things like you brought up that when you get older, these movies speak to you from a different perspective. You start seeing things as a kid that kind of gloss over your head. And that's how you can tell a movie's good, at least in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not a film critic and fuck them either way. But I think that when there's layers and nuances where everyone could enjoy this movie throughout time and it's timeless, it's solid. Training Day was outstanding. Ethan Hawke was outstanding. Like everyone around Denzel was great, but he was so good that you completely lost track of it. It was just Denzel at that point. Like
that movie was so real. It just felt real, man.
Yeah.
Like I just remember when Ethan Hawke got put in the tub and the dude was about to blow his brains. I like that joke. I just felt some type of way. I'm like, man, when he looked out the window and saw Denzel was gone. And he left him in the house, these game bangers. It was like, bro, what? I'm like, it was just a feeling that I got. That movie did such a great job just pulling from like our emotions and everything, man. I was like, you felt like you was in there with it.
100%.
It's like, he's in danger.
Ethan Hawke is one of those actors too that I think that dynamic, I'm surprised we haven't seen them more together because I think they did such a great job of feeding off each other's energy and just how they bounce off each other. It was underrated how good that chemistry was.
It's amazing, man.
But
I mean, that movie is everything, man, to me. That movie is everything.
It's a good choice. Black Panther, I told you, I could yell at someone all day about how great that movie is and why it's great. And it's not just like, oh, it's shut up, stop, don't be a dick. I know what you're like. I've had someone say, it's only because it's the first black superhero. It's like, first of all, not the first black superhero, but go on, you idiocy. Like, so I just lost it. I could name every other one.
All right.
Just want to also, before we close out, there was something interesting that I wanted to share with you. I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie called My Son in 20.
My Son, no, I'm not familiar with that one.
So there, excuse me, excuse me, guys. Allergies are kicking my butt. I'm normally better for this.
Bless you. Yeah, I wear this cheap cologne, man.
Really?
It's kind of coming through the stream.
That's what it is, man. I need you to get better cologne, man. No, so one of the actors that I never remember to bring up until I see him at something is James McAvoy.
Okay.
I think we've seen him in Split. We've seen him in a lot of roles that aren't necessarily like Oscar award nominees, but he does a very good job of his range and being able to carry a film. The movie My Son was released in 2021. The movie's premise, well, just putting it together, the premise was everyone in the movie had the script except for James McAvoy. He only knew a general idea of what was happening, but every day he basically had to improv everything that happened in this thriller drama. So was never given a script, but you can pick up through what the lines are being said to you, and everything. So you're experiencing the twists and surprises in real time with him. So what's on the screen, it's his real the fuck are you talking? So he's performing a full improv movie, and he's the only one doing it. So he would show up, hey, we need you at this address at this time tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, we're searching for and the actor's like, well, we're searching for a 12-year-old girl, blah, blah, blah. He's like, tough. So it was an interesting but crazy concept that I thought I would share. What I want to see what your thoughts are on something like a movie where it's completely improvised.
I've never heard of that before. I'm like, I was going to ask, was that his idea? That was the director's idea?
He was brought in, it was the director's idea. James revealed that his natural reactions in the filming didn't always go entirely to plan. Chatting about the film, he explained the entire film was, for me, improvised. The rest of the cast and crew had a script and had all rehearsing with each other and another actor playing for me for weeks. So they rehearsed with his stand-in, dropped him in, and he's like, this is wild. He said it was not the best decision, but it was really unique. So yeah, it's called My Son.
To watch that. I'll have to watch that. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I'll drop it in our chat. But
Okay.
is that like that was just something I was like, I've never heard of something like this.
That's tough, man. I mean, that's tough. Like you have to in order to do something like that, man, you would have to know the ins and outs of your character. You know, because you're reacting as the character. You have to know a storyline. You know, you have to know backstory, stuff like that. So you know what your relationship is with each character. So you know how you relate, how you respond to that person, how you communicate with that person. Those things are all going to be different depending on your relationship with them. So that's tough, man.
Yeah.
It
says Edwards Murray searches for answers deep in the Highlands after receiving a frantic call from his ex-wife that their 7-year-old son went missing from a campfire. And they said there's twist endings and everything. So everything you're seeing in real time, it's him.
Yeah, I have to check that out, man. It seems like a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, very dope.
Not anyone can do that though. That's like next level, man.
He's so fucking good. So Troy, as we're getting ready to close out, is there I know you have some upcoming projects and anything that you wanted to share with us, tell us about it a little bit, and where people could find any of your films and anything like that.
Absolutely, man. So thankful to be acting again, right? You know, these past couple of years, you know, we went through a pandemic, you know, where you know, we weren't doing anything, production shut down. Then we went through a strike, writer strike. Then there was the SAG union strike. So like, man, like there was some doubts in there that is it time to move on and do something else with my life? You know, so I'm very, very grateful to be, you know, being back on set again. So I have a new TV series. We filmed a pilot for it. It's called Blended. This is like a dark drama. I am the lead in that one. And basically that one is about you have a black family, you have a white family, right? And the couples, they're like best friends from college, but they're like so close that they're like family, right? So if anything ever happens to them, you know, they're like the guardians for their kids. If anything ever happens to them, you know, vice versa. So you know, we come up to this tragic situation that now that arrangement kind of has to take place. It's like, and now it's like, oh crap, like this is crazy. You know, how do I raise someone of the other race? You know, like it's crazy. So it's like that's kind of the premise of it without kind of giving too much away. Yeah. We've done the pilot for that one though. Shout out to that because we have a couple of LA actors in that one. So we filmed it here in Florida. So that's very rare in itself. But we're actually supposed to be doing a red carpet screening somewhere before the end of the year. It'll be here in Orlando. Nice. So I'll stay tuned for that one. And I think this is this series I truly believe is going to be a hit series. I think it's going to get picked up by a major network. And the story is too great, man. Shout out to Renelle Bolden. She's the one who wrote the script. She's a true creative, man. She's like, her gift is writing, you know, so she can write stuff in a way that is very unique, but it's very entertaining at the same time while these things are kind of playing out. So this was an amazing role I got to play, man. Again, this brought out some very different, some deep layers of me, of myself in this one. So I can't wait for that one. That was Blended. That was called Blended. So stay tuned for that one, for the premiere and screening of the pilot for that one sometime November, December. We're working on that now. And then I have a gangster film that I just did called Get Active. The director of that one is Eric Gray. He's also like the lead actor in that one. And, you know, appreciate the opportunity. I play a gangster in that one. I'm like a villain of the film. So I'm just straight, you know, like drug dealer. So again, that's me, man. I went from doing this dark drama, from being this corporate family guy, to doing like street dude, you know, drug dealer. That one's gonna be action, man. That one's action packed. I know that one, we wrapped on that one a couple of months ago, so that one's in post production, and that one right there, I'm pretty sure that one will be coming out soon as well. So stay tuned for that one. The other ones I have, I can't really talk too much about those, but that'll be in 2025. Why do I keep saying that? 2025. But I have the rom-com will probably be the first one that we shoot. So stay tuned for that. But those are the ones that I kind of have coming up on the on the radar right now. That'll be here in the near future.
That's dope, man. That sounds exciting, man. And blended sounds like you're right. That sounds like a really, I'm surprised the storyline hasn't been written before. Like that's a interesting idea. I'm putting a different perspective on it. And you could, so much conversation about differences in cultures and how people are being brought up and what is normal for one family is not normal for another. And as like, even as a, I mean, I have friends from different nationalities, cultures, everything. My best friend, white dude, Irish Italian, his even going to their family functions is different than being at a Dominican function. One of my best friends, black dude, like being in their family functions is different than being in Hispanic Dominican culture. It's like, it's just seeing even those little small tidbits in conversations and even how people interact with each other. I've had people be in obviously I'm happily engaged, but when I dated someone who was a white woman and she came to a Hispanic event, she's like, why is everyone yelling at each other? This isn't yelling. This is just how we talk. No one's actually angry. So your mom just yelled at you for like 5 minutes. I was like, that's just her being her. I haven't called her every 15 minutes. It's normal. Ignore it. Like we're all yelling at each other. So
different cultures are different though. Sometimes give you a culture shock just being around different cultures.
Yeah. So imagine bringing up a family who's dynamic, especially depending on the age ranges of the kids, are very used to being brought up in a very different way. And no longer. And then I'm imagining that blended of the children from both sides at once. There's probably some comedic, fun things there too, and some serious things there as well. Yeah, man. So that's
it's a crazy journey that we embark on. Let's just say that it's a crazy journey. So it was a very challenging role. Mm-hmm. I had to really go deep in this one because that was like one of the first ones I did from the pandemic and from the strikes. So like it was like I was a little bit of rust. It's like, man, I've been off set for a while. So now I'm back on it. It's like, oh man, and it took a little bit, but then it came right back to me. And I'm like, yeah, this is where I need to be. I missed this so much and just so thankful to be on set and be doing this historic project. And yeah, man, I can't wait for Blended to drop, man. It's gonna be amazing.
I can't.
And it's gonna move a lot of people. It's gonna move a lot of people.
Man, I'm even thinking about the like racial tensions where one person might not understand why one kid feels a certain kind of way, and it's gonna be fun.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. So you already know, man. Like that's exactly where we're going with it too, man. Just that's the questions you're asking.
Yeah,
that's what people are going to see in this series, man. You're gonna kind of see how this would be. Like, what if this did happen? This, and it's like me as a character, I'm living that in real time in that moment. So trying to figure it out. That's even as the character, I'm trying to figure this out. How is this going to go? I don't know. So it's tough.
And as a parent, to bring up kids that are not brought up the way you've been brought up and never had that experience, that's going to be difficult too. So you have a lot of storylines there. That's
the church you go to, different type of churches you go to.
I forgot that part too. You're 100% right. Jeez. Like the church thing. Shit. Hispanic churches are even, yeah. There's a lot there. I completely forgot. Oh, I've been in a black church. It feels like an exercise. Like I feel like I'm working out. Walk out drenched in sweat. Fuck just happening here. I'm so exhausted. I mean, it's 4 p.m. Like, why are we still here? Oh my God.
All that praise and worship, man. All the praise and worship, dude. I'm like, enough, man. We've been enough praise and worship for the whole month, man. It's time to go home.
He's like, I got to eat. He's like, yes, brothers and sisters. Stop it. I know what you're about to do. You're going to go again. Stop it. I got to go. Sorry.
So all those things, though, man, all those things kind of come into effect. It's like, how is it going to go? So that's why, like I said, man, all these things you're saying, these are things that my character is trying to figure out, just kind of in real time. It's like, this is it. This is life. We have to make the best of it now. Like that's kind of what's going on. So when I say it's such a complex role, it's like, man, it's real life stuff, man. Yeah. So I love telling those types of stories.
I like it, man. I think that's going to be great. I look forward to it. You let me know when it drops. I'll fucking prop it up as much as my small little podcast can. I'll make sure all the friends and family watch it. So you tell me where it's going to be at, if it drops, when it drops, all that. And if there's a red carpet premiere, I'm hyped for you. Let me know how that goes. I'll celebrate it for you.
I will. Now you also asked me where can people find me?
Yes, sir.
My stuff. So I'm just honestly, man, it's just Troy D. Williams, man. You can just put that in on any platform. Like everything is under Troy D. Williams. Facebook, Instagram,
IMDb,
TikTok,
all
Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff, Linktree. And my movies are on various platforms, Amazon Prime, Tubi. I have a couple films on Tubi. The one I talked about that me and Kim worked on, Watchmen's Edict, it's now called Doomsday Clock, just so you know, they changed the name. It's called Doomsday Clock. That one's on every platform. I want to say like Tubi, Amazon.
Oh,
That was on YouTube. That's like a YouTube, like the YouTube movie.
yeah, that's dope. I did not know that was everywhere.
Yeah, that one got a distribution deal a long time ago, and it's still been on there, still doing numbers. So it's like, it's crazy, man.
Well, good to know. All right, man. Well, I'll make sure to give that a watch, especially because is Kim on it? Kim in it?
No, she was behind the scenes. She was like crew on that one.
Okay. I was.
I think there was a scene that they wanted her to make a cameo, but she didn't want to do it. She's like, "No, I'm standing behind the camera."
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, she did not, did she? But no, still definitely gonna check them out to support and everything, man. Hope you had a lot of fun on the show.
Blast, man.
Good. And sorry, UCF. Yeah, shouldn't suck.
You had to throw that in there.
I had to have fun with it. So, guys, for everyone at home enjoying and listening to the show, make sure you drop Troy a follow on every platform. Give his movies a view and obviously follow him. Support, man. Support local. We do that all day. And get to know, you get to be one of those cool kids and say, hey, that guy in the syndicated TV show, I know him. I saw him somewhere. So make sure to do that. For those who are enjoying the show, you can find us everywhere, Bourbon_and_BS on Instagram, TikToks. I've been doing those because apparently you guys like the idea of me being a day drunk. Whatever. You guys need help. If you enjoy, all jokes, if you guys enjoying the drink videos, everything, make sure you drop me an idea of what you want and I'll try to make it. I've had some people hit me up for recipes like, hey, how long do I use this? Shakers, don't hesitate to reach out. I will answer every single question. I'm not a bartender. I am just a drink enthusiast. So I will do my best to answer your questions, but keep an eye out for a couple of upcoming shows. But make sure you're liking, subscribing, supporting, following. Leave a 5-star review if you're enjoying the show. If you are not enjoying the show, this is important. Also leave a 5-star review and let us know why you don't like the show, because I won't be paying attention to anything that's not a 5 stars. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Troy, anything else to everyone at home? Bye. Good. Anything?
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's supporting me. For all the new people who are going to follow me now, you'll find a guy that I on social media. I try to give a lot of insight and behind the scenes on some of the cool things that I get to do in this industry. So, I actually interact with all of my friends and followers. So definitely follow me on social media, and also check out my IMDb as well. I'm actually getting really close to 50 movies. Really close.
Heck yeah. I'm going to go check that out right now. I'm sure. Guys, check out his IMDb. We will post it, and it'll probably be in the show notes because that's the kind of potential detail here at Bourbon and Bullshit we pride ourselves in. But as always, guys, take care, drive safe, and drink responsibly. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by Burn, Termite, and Pest Control. I first met Joe Byrne on Full Frontal Nerdity Show and decided to give his company a try. They have been the best pest service I've ever had, from flexible scheduling, attention to detail, fair pricing, and everything you love about a small business. I highly recommend Joe Byrne and Burn, Termite, and Pest Control. It's a family-owned and operated business with over 30 years of experience in termite and pest. You can reach Burn, Termite, and Pest Control at 321-297-7985. Once again, 321-297-7985. And let them know Bourbon and Bullshit sent you. Thanks, guys. See you next time.